in front of a college dorm room door. I'm talking right in front of the door. I'm kind of self-conscious because I'm really close to the door, and the door is right next to the lounge on my dorm floor. So people are going to be hearing me talking about this. Oh, okay, we'll just pretend they're not there. I'm going to start off with some nice moisturizer and talk to you guys about professors and college and my experience. I wanted to spend this portion of the video sort of discussing some disclaimers with you before I start this whole chat. I don't want anyone to get the impression that I feel like teachers are lazy or they're too funded or they don't work enough, because that's just simply not true. A lot of teachers don't have a good pay. Just covering up my mustache, just kidding, I don't have a mustache, but if you do, it's okay. Anyway, I'm getting off track. I would just like to say that I appreciate teachers and professors and anyone in the educational field. What I don't want this video to be is just a ranting video of me just spewing anger at the camera. And she gave me a 19 out of 20. I want it to be more like informative. We did what you asked. I want it to be something that a teacher could see and listen to. This really annoys me at my core, and maybe take into account my experience as a student. Some things I really don't understand. I don't know. I'm just suggestions. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup, and then we shall meet with a hearty cup of tea over beside my desk. Right, we are back with our tea, which I showed you, and we shall talk about all of the college things. I feel like I have so many things that I want to say on this topic. So many things. I'm taking a course right now that doesn't apply to my life. I'm sorry, but it doesn't apply to my life. I'm a musician. I don't need something that will contain formulas. Basic math, yes, but this specific thing, no. They'll ask you a question, of course you don't know the answer, and they'll be like, why don't you know the answer to this question? You learned this in like 8th grade. The reason that I can't recollect this very specific formula or this math equation or this technique is because I haven't had to use it in real life, which says a lot. So I had a phone conversation with my mom the other day, and I was like, and she's pretty good at this type of thing. So I asked her, like, do you know this formula, or do you know how to do this? Like, I'm just not really sure what to do. Do you have any tips or advice? And she was like, I don't know. I learned that back in college. Sure, it's great to be well-rounded. My professor one day was like, you need to know about carbon monoxide poisoning because it could kill you. So what I'm saying is I wish that these gen ed classes would actually have applicable chemistry life skills, like preventing dying. Just something like worthwhile. And I know for a fact, right after I take this final exam, I'm not gonna remember any of it. Something else that I wanted to address was the teachers, especially in gen ed classes. A lot of the problems that I have with professors are in gen ed courses. I mean, I will give my right arm, that is my dominant arm, I will give my right arm to any professor within my major. They're allowed to charge me for a $200 textbook. That's fine, because that's my major and I need to learn that material. I mean, if there's a cheaper way to learn that material, I'd be fine with that. But I'm not gonna make a big fuss over it. What I will make a big fuss over is gen ed courses that don't do anything for you. It's just ridiculous. For example, for the first day of class of this one gen ed that I went into, she put us into groups, which I already hate, and she said to conduct this one experiment and to explain the results. Even though this was a gen ed course, this was a course that was supposed to be for students who had never taken this subject a day in their life. She made us do this experiment, which is fine. I'm like, okay, so it's like a participation grade. It was only worth 5 points, but she gave us a 4 out of 5 before she even taught anything to us, before she even wrote notes on the board or gave us a textbook or anything. This is the type of person that will rate their waitress or waiter like a 9 out of 10. Why not give them a 10 out of 10? Like, they're being nice, they're giving you service. I know their argument is always like, oh, you could do a little bit better. Humans can never be perfect. I'm like, yes, but like, we did what you asked. There was another class that I was a part of where I had to write a blog post for something. I researched, I did everything she said on the criteria, absolutely everything. I gave her, you know, like the maximum amount, the 5 pages. And I even took her to the writing center and I got it looked over and I made sure everything was good on it. And she gave me a 19 out of 20. A 19 out of 20. Are you serious? I said this wasn't gonna turn into a rant, but I'm angry. I already covered this, you know, a couple minutes ago, but there's the issue of charging us hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for these stupid textbooks. I'm sorry, they're worthless to me. These textbooks that aren't going to match her. Take physics, for example. I may use physics, but the subject itself isn't worthless, but how they're currently being taught to students is worthless to a majority, at least in the gen ed department. And what I'm suggesting is that we teach something that's applicable to the average person's life. And that brings us on to small pet peeves. These are kind of petty, but I feel like they should be included. But I've had many teachers say to me, don't be afraid to ask questions. No question is a stupid question. And then you ask the question, and then they proceed, oh my gosh, I'm so angry. They proceed to say, oh, don't you remember we covered this yesterday? I was taking notes the entire time. And if I looked in my notes and I remembered the answer from yesterday, would I be asking this question? I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be asking this question. I mean, I try hard in school. I really do try my best. On a gen ed that I'm taking right now, I think I'm gonna end up with a C-, and that is with detailed note-taking, that is with reading every article, paying attention in class, studying with peers, multiple things that I've been trying to do, looking up techniques on how to do on YouTube, asking the teacher themselves, and I'm still gonna get a C-. I'm doing literally everything that is being asked of me, and I'm still gonna get a C-. I mean, when your class's average grade on an exam is a C, it's not their fault. In my class, I know for a fact there are some students who are incredibly diligent, but if their average is a C, it's not their fault for not studying. I think that's all that I want to say. Some things I really don't understand. My tea is lukewarm now.